Good afternoon. Today is June the 30th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show. 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. We tell the stories that are inspiring so they will inspire you. Let's do this. Good afternoon. We have our service hero, someone that I am so excited to be sharing today about. This is a personal friend, guys. This is someone I absolutely adore and love. Total disclosure out there. And back at you. And you have those people in your life that come into your world at a time where they're just meant to be there. And we met at such a time. We met actually at an event and had an opportunity to sit next to each other at a dinner. And from that point on, I just adopted her. That's just the way it is. This is a woman that has a story. She has a story that is definitely going to inspire all of you. It inspires me every single time I hear it. And it's a woman that has dedicated her life. She's dedicated her life for those that she serves, and she serves them. And we're going to talk about that. You are truly a service hero, Dr. Marlena. Thank you for being here today.
I thank you so much for having me. You are my soul sister. There's no happenstance, there's no coincidence. We were meant to sit by each other that day.
Absolutely. I'm going to start crying as just even thinking about it, and I want to recognize that we have one of our ambassadors, actually our ambassador of the chat within the nonprofit that I have, Chemo Buddies for Life, and Helene Wilson. So glad that you're here. And what she does is she does exactly this. She welcomes everyone, including the two of us. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being with us today. This Anafin is someone that has been supporting the show and has been supporting me for a few years now. And I just want to say thank you for being here. And before we get into bragging about you a lot more in truth, I want to recognize that Scenes Chicago contacted me just a few days ago here on the Tamara L. Hunter Service Heroes page on Facebook, and was, said, hey, can we talk? I want to talk to you about service heroes. And in connecting back and forth, this reporter had me write up just a little synopsis of what it is that Service Heroes is all about and how it all started. And you know the story. You actually were featured in a live a while ago.
Right.
A while ago. A lot of fun to look back on those shows. and we were featured today in an article. This show was featured today in an article. And I want to say thank you to Scene Chicago for that recognition. And it is a recognition for the show. However, I see it as a recognition for all the service heroes that have been highlighted and will continue to be highlighted through this medium. It really is an amazing medium. And then I want to welcome our alliance with and the streaming that we've been contacted by HOD, a TV radio group out of Nigeria, Dr. Marlena. And I believe we should be streaming live right now to them. And that we've been working on the technology, and I think we've got it. So I want
on my bucket list. Isn't again no happenstance that I'm on today.
None at all.
Yes.
That is exciting. Well, I will say this, is that having a nonprofit that is global and is supporting people throughout the world, one buddy at a time, and I try to have my heartbeat, in my ear to the ground, if you will, on who is doing what throughout the world. And what I am reading about Nigeria is that they really, when it comes to cancer, they're working to get that system put in place.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that I'm very impressed with what I've been seeing. So welcome to the show, and exciting that this is happening. So Dr. Marlena, let's go into what it is that you're doing, and then I want to go into your backstory, because your backstory it's powerful. Every single time I have heard it, I get something new out of it. And amazing events even happen around when you're telling the story. I mean, there's been so many experiences that you and I have had and others have had when we've been together. And so you are a doctor. Recently you were awarded that title, and let's talk about that, because I know that is a very big deal. Mm-hmm. And what it is that you're doing right now.
Sure. So yes, it's so great to be here, my sister, my soul sister, Tamara. Thank you for having me. I am a doctor of management. And what I've been doing for 30 years in the corporate world was managing large-scale transformations for the company as an HR director. What I'm doing now is I'm helping individuals using the discovery method to navigate COVID right now in this season. So, and then you know the backstory, which we'll talk about, but because I am a walking miracle, I have this purpose and this passion that just oozes out to help people not be afraid, to reinstore hope. And I'm just doing that by living my faith out loud.
And I love that. In fact, I captured an image that is probably one of the last ones you were able to do, actually. Yes. On at a pulpit, because
absolutely.
Part of your mission and message is a ministry, right?
Absolutely. I am an ordained minister. Mm-hmm. I have several degrees. Theology is one of them, because I just, after going through my miracle situation, I had to understand for myself who I serve and why I serve. And then took that mission and that message out to at the end of the day, it's about love. Oh, you have love deeply was today's soul comfort. And that's what I do. My mission is about bringing comfort to the soul. And if we can get in alignment with our mind, our bodies, and our souls, we can do everything else. And I do everything else. I have a
yeah, I even know that.
I do, so I have a reason, but I really believe we have to get to the fundamentals, back to the foundation. And with COVID happening, people were, we were kind of forced into our homes. And then now what? And I'm offering that now what? When we emerge from this, and I know here in our area, things are shutting down again, and people are getting that fear is ramping back up. But I'm here to tell you there's no need to fear. And then I give you the steps so you don't have to. And that's where I'm doing my, and I don't want to use the word magic because there's no magic in it. It's really a shifting of the mindset. So I actually consider myself a mindset development expert.
I love that. And it's so appropriate. Absolutely. Yes. And and one of the things, and I don't know that many that watch the show and some that are newer to the show may not realize that I am a second generation, if you will, someone that's from the HR, but I was on the other side. I was a recruiter, headhunter for 18 years. My mother was a headhunter that ended up going on to the HR side. So we immediately had that to talk about. And then back and then jump into the waters and all the other things that we've navigated over the last few years now.
Divine connection.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And So your backstory, your story, it's not a backstory. It is your story. It is a story that every time I do hear it, I always end up, number one, totally inspired. Number two, know that anything and all things are possible. And number three, love you that much more. It's just because of the fact that, and it's not just because, it is because of the fact that this is a miracle. So let's talk about it. You were very sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually died on the operating table, a little bit more than just being sick.
Right.
Found myself, as most do at that age and that date in my life. It was right before my 40th. And I just felt empty, unsatisfied, and had to I was trying to figure out a way to be enough. And I opted for the gastric bypass to try and change what I thought was the physical part that needed to be changed. And actually went in for that surgery and did not wake up into consciousness, actually woke up into unconsciousness for 80 days. So just imagine that. That's like kind of going to sleep now and waking up in September, October, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then when I woke up, finding out that I had survived, my heart stopped twice on the operating table, had to be resuscitated, had been on a ventilator for those 80 days. But then it was a 6 month, with another 4 months to get out of the hospital, but then a 15-year journey to even discover why I'd gone through that. Mark Twain says there's 2 days in our lives, right, that are important: the day we're born and the day we discover our why. Well, I discovered my why, and my why was for COVID, for example, because people are they're just plain out scared. And if you turn on the news or you read stuff, it's just igniting, and those flames are fueling the fire of being scared. And my life is that miracle that others are praying for, and I get to show up for them as the miracle. They get to see me just like we're doing here, coaching and talking over the internet. We're physical distancing, but we don't have to socially distance ourselves. And I can say, hey, I'm that miracle that you're praying for. But I can tell you it takes more than just being the miracle or asking the miracle or getting the miracle. You have to put some work in.
Right.
And that's what we do now. We put the strategy help them up to rediscover, number one, redefine and their destiny. And it's going to take some work, but at the end of it, they say, what's in it for me? You're going to be at peace. You're looking at a woman who is at peace.
Yeah. And I can validate that. I really can, because
peace.
You okay. Let's talk about this. And this is not the only experience that you've had that is a miracle experience. And so and I actually was somewhat involved with one night that there was something that happened. I mean, you be around this amazing woman, Dr. Marlena, you will see the miracles happening around you one way or another. And we have had quite a few journeys together. In fact, I picked some pictures, and then we're going to continue in this, because I just we have so many that it's like, okay, where do I start? And I just thought, well, I'll just start with some that, that
short hairdo, yes.
It's like, because okay, we all have our thing, and that was my pink period. So and a lot of pink, and so we'll continue some pictures as we're going now.
Well, I'm in pink today,
and I love it. Well, thank you.
What did I wear today would honor my friend. And
I love you. I love you. And in fact, this is a pink. It's producing a little bit of more of the red. But so you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
You wake up
Mm-hmm.
and you actually thought it was that you were waking up from the hospital or from the surgery, right?
You want to know what today is? Today is the day. Today is the 29th of June is the day I went in for. So I had my original surgery on June 23rd, and I think I'm going home on June 29th. And they rush in and they say, "Oh, we're going to rush you back into surgery because you have leakage." And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, I'm prepared for death." So I'm like, okay, because I know again who I serve. I know where I'm spending eternity. So I was okay.
Uh-huh.
Then they come in and they said, "We're going to prepare you. We're going to take you in now." I wake up those 80 days later, and they say, "Oh, you're awake," and I'm thinking, "Yeah, I'm awake." She's asking me the question, "Who are you? Where are you?" And when I say the date, she said, "Well, what's the date?" I said, "Well, I think maybe I slept a day." So I'm saying, "Is it June 29th, June 30th?" Which is
Oh, wow.
which I thought it was June 30th. And she said, "No,
Wow.
it's September 17th." So I'm like, wow. And then I hear the machines. And I look over and I realize I don't hear my voice like I'm hearing how I'm talking to you.
Right.
Actually, I had the trach into the ventilator on,
Uh-huh.
but I thought it was June 30th. And here we are on June.
June 30th. And something told me to contact you today to get you on the
Yeah.
show.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
today
Once
actually
again.
it's the 16th anniversary. Yesterday was the 16th anniversary of the surgery where I went into the coma. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is one of the, because I was thinking about this and thinking about, yes, we both are in California. We're both in Southern California, and like you, I am not. I am really trying to stay away from the news. We get
Mhm.
enough of it kind
Yeah,
of by osmosis.
absolutely.
However, I have family members that they were able to go back to work, and now they're being told, okay, prepare not to be at work, and
Hmm.
and there's a lot of shifting and changing and such going on, and they're talking about, oh yes, there's this and that. The reality of it is that we are actually, there is so much hope. There are so many
Yeah,
good things happening right now, and that's what we need to be sharing, is the
absolutely.
good stories that people are, that not only that people that are on ventilators, they can get through it and they can live
Mhm.
if that is their destiny. And again, you're a believing person, and you understand all of this. This is part of your ministry, and the fact that you can talk about it because you have been there, not from
Absolutely.
COVID, but you've been there because of another. You didn't mention the other piece of it. You
Right.
had other things going on that
Absolutely.
was like it was like a COVID, but it was different,
Right.
right?
Yeah. What happened was I got sepsis. And so by the time they discovered it, yeah, I mean, I was at the fatal stage. My organs had started failing. My kidneys were, I was on diet. I didn't even know until I'd woken up and had been in a hospital for, woken, that's they woken up. I woke up and I'd been in there for several months and they were wheeling me somewhere for a procedure. And the guy looks over and he says, "Oh, you're the lady I did dialysis for." So my organs were failing. There was issues with my liver. I mean, when you say walking miracle, I was on death's door, and I was on the ventilator, and even when I woke up, there were still months of being on the ventilator where they would try and turn it down, and I still couldn't process. I couldn't be weaned off of it. So yeah, but again, I didn't. One thing I didn't give up, and that was it. That was the key. So I know just from speaking with you that like when children have cancer and they ask them to draw the picture, and if they draw the picture of their cancer real big and them really small, then the mindset is that they unfortunately don't survive as well. And it's the same thing with us. If COVID is so big and we see ourselves so small in this, the chances of surviving are diminished, by degrees. But where if you just know that, again, when I went into my surgery, I knew where I was going to spend tomorrow. I wasn't prepared for the complications. And
Right.
so right now, being in our homes are complications. That 90% is what of life is happening to us. And how we're going to get through this is that 10% of that faith that we have to tap into and use that to navigate beyond that. But being a resource, an HR resource provider, what I do is help people on the day to day. So
Right.
working
Right.
with a client who says, "Hey, I'm not getting any money. It's nice to be home and shut down everything and flatten the curve." And I'm all for it. I'm master. We have special masks made and everything, and I'm all for that. But then all at the same time, people who now are in their homes and this is life is happening to, they're like, "What do I do? How do I navigate?" And that's what there I am.
Yeah, I love that.
They're
And
open right now.
yeah, well, I was going to bring that up because your family
Yeah.
has how many of these?
Oh, we have 4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they're back open, but we had to take all the precautions. They had to take all the precautions to make sure that it's a safe experience. And they're masked up and they're gloved up and they've created partitions and everything. But some people are still in their homes
Right.
and still weren't getting resources because there's just no market out there for jobs and I have remedies for all of that, to help you build wealth and help you just navigate that mindset, because it's a time while being in our homes have been challenging. It's really the foundation. And for us women, being in the home is the foundation of where everything kind of springs forth from. And we get the opportunity to be back in our homes and we're having to cook again. And I'm not trying to put us into, sexist roles, but some of these things start at home. And then, as my dad used to say, charity begins at home and it spreads abroad. So if we can learn it there, we can then take it out and improve upon it. So if we have to look at it, we have to go through it, we might as well look at it in a positive way and then get it together, build from there, build back, talking to our children, having dinner with them. Now, I know there are some challenging situations where there's some abuse and situations like that. There's my family. Yeah, those are my loved ones growing up. It's my grandpa. And, oh, my God, those make me cry. But, yeah, that sense of family, I think we've gotten away from. And so this kind of takes us back to that. And we get to, and I love this part, co-create with God on how it's going to look and take the time to do that. So my babies.
Yes, and I'm going to bring them back up. I want to address this because this is something that Helene brought up, because she had a sister recently that passed of sepsis, and we deal and to be really careful with this. Yet I know you so well. You have dealt with your share of losses over the last while. Lots, a lot, and not all from one thing. It's just been a variety, and I've just been like, there to love you and just put my heart out for you. And your belief system is one that right now also, we do have our seasons where the story goes that each one of us will have our opportunity to go on to our next piece in evolution. Let's just say, whatever your belief system is in watching this. And so I thought I would bring that up, and so that you could address this, because you are probably one of the most loving individuals that I know that has that ministry going on.
Yeah. Well, my ministry is non-denominational. I don't go by just I go by the ministry of love.
Right.
That being said, it is a fivefold ministry. It is built on the foundation of Christ being my Savior. And so when people work with me, they already know that. But that's what makes me different. That's what gives me this peace that I sit in. Now, I have chaos 24/7, 365. I mean, probably this year 366 was leap year, right? So I have crazy going on. But I tell you, it feels so good to be rooted and anchored in what I believe in. And I would like everyone to believe in it, but that's individual choice. But that's what makes me be at peace. Now you're right. I have been heavy. I've been hit with a 1, 2, 3 punch on in the last couple of months. But being a minister, I see death all the time, but I truly see it differently. I see it as actually an ending for some, but also a beginning for them as well. It's where I aspire to be at some point. Not quite yet there, but if it comes, it comes. Now with COVID, I'm taking all the precautions. I'm wearing my gloves, my mask. I'm taking the precautions, for example, right? But if that's going to be my lot, that's going to be my exit, if you will, I'm not going to fear it. But and that's what I'm trying to share, or what I do daily, sharing with others, with the soul comfort. There's so much more we need to focus on than death. We need to focus really on living, and living it abundantly, because death's going to happen. Taxes and death, they're coming. No matter.
Like
Yeah, I love the commercial that says, I don't see an expiration date on you, Tamara. And so you live your life until you expire. No one can tell you what that is. They can only guesstimate. And I have had the fortune, and I say the fortune, to walk individual, not more than one, but it was a mother in our church. And I walked her. She was an evangelist, and I walked her through that last year of her life until her last breath. And I was there, and I got to see the beauty of that. And I said to her, and I said, Mother, I said, what's the one message? She had come to the conclusion that at some point it was going to end. But she didn't die from her cancer. Let me tell you what she died from. She died from a broken heart. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
It wasn't the disease that ravaged her body. It was the broken heart, because she thought her life was going to be a certain way at the end. And she got kind of bad news about that expectation she had. And I mean, I can tell you, the day it waxed on, that she gave up. When she was fighting and she was thinking that conclusion was going to be her lot, she was fired up. She even went back to work when they said she wouldn't work again. She went back to work.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And thank you for bringing that up, because, that is one of the things that's so important with the mission that we have within the nonprofit Chemo Buddies for Life, is that, we have the power, so much power, in alignment with our hearts and our minds, if we believe. And that's where, having a community of love, humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a lot of love is what we say, that gives that. You don't, if you don't have it at home, you've got it now in a community that is opening up their arms for you wherever you are. And that story is so important for people to understand. And in fact, it goes into, you've got a book, you've got rediscovering your destiny. And you know what, that could not be more in line with, again, today being June 30th, 2020, and what is happening in our our general areas and throughout the world, because you understand it on the concrete level and the abstract or spiritual level, whatever you want to look at it. The concrete level, we got to still pay the bills. We got to keep the head, roof over our head. We've got to eat. We've got to, whatever it may be, beyond, now we've got social distancing. We have all these new buzzwords. We've got to wear masks, all of this, but the old-fashioned still nuts and bolts of life
Absolutely. Still
are,
apply. Yes.
and that is an okay, another total disclosure. I have studied in the same room with this woman a few times, and I know what kind of student she is, and I know how detailed she is with anything. You want her as your study partner, I'll tell you that for sure. And so I know your abilities. I know how you attack things personally when it comes to being detailed and getting that, really understanding it to the nth degree. And so when you're talking about rediscovering your life, and right now a lot of people are rediscovering, and they're rediscovering, they're making themselves aware of the fact that they can pivot too, right?
Absolutely. It's funny that word pivot is just now, it's just dropped everywhere, but it's what we have been doing as women, nothing against men, but as
we,
we
we we love you guys, yeah.
for years. So when we're hitting now, it's just, oh, it's natural to us. The thing is, sometimes we're suffering in silence. And we're this whole the community that you have created is what women need. This is what we need. So let me share. We had a tea a couple weeks ago. We had a virtual tea. God took my pastor away from me. Not away from me. He took my pastor home last August, and I was like, he was my spiritual, go-to. He was when I needed a word, when I needed a scripture, when I needed a prayer. But let me tell you, he replaced him, not replaced because you never replace him, but he gave me someone else. So he never takes something from us without giving us something. So he gave me what I call now my new BFF, and she's in Chicago, and she and I were talking, and we are just, again, like you and I, she and I were just like, oh my God, like I've known her all my life. And so he said, hey, people are kind of suffering. Let's do a virtual tea. And we'll wear our big hats, and and we did it. We did a virtual tea online. And at the 11th hour of someone that was going to be joining us, she invited someone else. And that woman, when she was on that tea with us, she said she had been praying for that moment. She so needed that. Because she was thankful for her job, she was thankful for her children, she was thankful for being able to be home and not be sick, but she needed a human touch, and that's what I am. I am the human touch. So we had that call, and there was one person trying to get on, and the phone kept dropping, but she made it work between a phone and a computer. She got on because she needed that touch, and that's what community to me is all about. That's how I reach out and say, if I don't sit here and do anything but just look at you and blow at you, that's the connection that the human touch of human touch that is so needed right now at any time. But yeah, rediscovering your destiny does just that. It gets you back in tune with you, and then you're able to, once you're whole, you can go out and conquer the world.
Absolutely. And I want to share this picture. We have Renee with us right now. And Renee,
I had sister.
Yes, one of our sisters and had grabbed that image from a very fun time that we had together. We've had many of them, and Sherry and Helene are both sharing, amen, that and one of the things about our studying that we've done, we learned from one of our mentors, Joy Willett, that
the Illuminator.
Yeah, that we are the way that our brains work. What we are doing right now through this digital platform and being able to see each other, our minds are not going to remember if we were in the same room at this moment.
Absolutely.
Or we were on our computers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm getting a little spoiled. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to testify. I'm getting a little spoiled. We've been having our church online. And many days, my mother-in-law and I, we come in here and sort of we put a nice top on, we have our PJs on, and we're watching our church. But here, if we were having church in the building, on a good day, maybe 50 people, 100, but we're reaching 1,500
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
So while yes, we are navigating this a little differently, the message is going so much further than we can even imagine. And so right now, because of all the different waves and just not really ready to release back out there, and knowing that church is not the building, it's the individuals, we're still online, but it's a beautiful experience. And you're right, someone that's giving their life to Christ at that time, they're not going to remember if they did it online or if they did it the bottom line is they're going to have a way to experience life eternally. And so yeah.
And you think about right now, again, June the 30th, 2020, and the history of this period of time. When people look back, and they're looking back at, because also we took NLP together, and the whole idea of traumatic situations that might happen, and that they need to let that go, and that they can go on with their life. They discover where it started, it originated.
Right.
And there may be some even kids right now that are because of the school system. There's so many people that are not understanding 100%, because maybe it's not being explained to them and everything, how their whole life and why their whole life is changing. And right now, and having people that are watching this show, not only here in the United States, but all over the world, that then you add in, what is the message that they're hearing? And because of your understanding, and because of all of the different certificates, degrees, everything that you have, I mean, we could just keep going. What is it that we can be doing right now ourselves as service heroes to our families, to our children, to our grandchildren, to help that next generation, so that they're not having to go and later have this trauma that was not addressed at this period of time, wiped away? What is it that we can be doing?
One is communications. It's definitely having open and honest conversations, not from a judgmental perspective, because sometimes we want to judge what the other person's doing. Just for hearing what's on the person's mind, what fears they have, number one. Because if you have one, think about your children, they do. I mean, I have millennials, and they're used to being out, they're used to going out, but it's different. So now when I have the conversation, I have them come in and I talk to each one of them individual. Sometimes we group everything into, if we have 3 or 4 kids, we talk to them as a group. No, they don't all have the same needs. We need to, as parents, get one-on-one with them. There's a moment for grouping, but one-on-one, so you can really hear what that individual fear is. What have you heard? I mean, ask the kid, what have you heard about this? What do they know? And here's the thing that has always worked well for me. Honestly, talk to them about it. Don't try and sugarcoat it. Don't try and change the names of it. You don't have to be real graphic or explicit in some of the conversation, but tell them the true facts about what's happening, whatever it may be. And then here's the beauty of it. As they go through life, they're going to validate what you say anyway, and they'll know that you, as the mom or the dad, didn't lie to them. You told them the way it was. Hey, mom is scared right now. If mom's scared, say mom is scared. And you know what? Mom is trying to learn what's the best way to take care of us. And then they'll see mom as being human, instead of mom having this superpower that, yes, we do have as mom.
Yeah.
More than anything, we wear different masks, and we don't want to get stuck behind, one mask in particular. So have that real conversation, and then let them know the numbers. Now, don't let them know. And when I say know the numbers, don't get the panic and fear that we're getting. We're opening that floodgate and we're letting everything in. No, control it. Say, yes, hey, the numbers are going up. So therefore, we have to be more aware. You have to make better choices when you're not with mom, or whatever that question may be. It tends to be, what's going to happen next? Is it the end of the world? Well, if it's the end of the world, what are you doing to prepare for the end of the world? If you want to see eternity, and depending on what your belief is, my belief says you become saved, therefore eternity is yours. If your belief says something else, do what your belief says, so you can see, something else. You see eternity. And then once you know where eternity is and it's solid, that doesn't mean, because I know where my eternity is, doesn't mean I'm perfect. I still make poor choices. I still have to go through your test to have a testimony. I still mess up, mess and need my mess corrected, because I'm human. But I don't fear what's going to happen tomorrow, because I already know today is a gift and it's a present that I'm going to live and work within. And so it's all about communication. And through all of this is about communication, workplace, personal, you and I communicating. It's about honest communication. And then on the flip side of that, being authentic and unapologetic about who you are as an individual. And
love that.
You and I may differ, and I respect you enough to say that's your opinion, and you get to have it.
Exactly. I love that. And, one of the other things I was thinking too is that besides the fact that each child or even adults, I have 20 somethings, and that's been an interesting little evolution of time over the last few months. And it's also, what is their age? What's age appropriate, right? And so thank you for that. In fact, as you were talking, I was looking at some of the pictures I pulled, and I thought, here you are, keep smiling, and of course, Andre Adams Miller, the smiles, they help now. She's been helping me with the show, and so I really appreciate them. And, I also grabbed this from your images, know your why, and knowing your why is, like that end in mind. That's huge. And there's one more I just have to, because I just had to. How are you doing with I know you love your Dodgers. I know you love your baseball.
I'm a test. I live my life out loud. I love my Dodgers, but I really, really loved my garlic fries at Dodgers.
I love you.
Yeah. I'm missing it. But I'm replacing. Let me tell you what I've done. I would like to run. It's on my bucket list to run the LA Marathon. And every year it comes and it passes. And, I have been out learning to run. And so I'm into the run walk. I have not hit 10 miles yet. I'm almost there. I think 8 is, I've gotten a combination of running and walking. I've hit 8 miles. Today was the day to hit the 10, and I'm not quite there yet. I had a couple of injuries because, I waited later in life to start trying to run. But I'm outside moving. So yes, I love to sit around and go to a game and see my Dodgers, but I'm learning to pour some of that energy into myself right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Garlic fries.
Right. Yes. Dodger Stadium has the best garlic fries. Now,
my goodness.
You guys know where there's some other ones that are better and that those are trashy or junk, but it's just don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Yeah, no, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're going to let you just, look at that smile. You just brought so much joy. It made me laugh. And Renee is saying, run to Orange County.
Yeah, 26. Well, it's 26 miles for the LA Marathon. And right now I'm working toward a 5K in September. So I'm going to get there.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I've gone back and forth if I was going to ask you about this. And I'm going to go ahead and we can cover it a little, or we can cover it a little bit more.
Okay.
But I know how amazingly close you were
Yeah.
to our dear friend, Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the people I know that knew him, which I know a lot of people, um, he really was someone special to you and what it is that you're doing now, right?
Yeah.
You're a legacy to his memory now.
Oh, wow.
Is what I'm thinking, because what did he do for you? He really made a difference in your life, right?
Right. So, there was a 20-year history. So I knew him back when he was a trainer, but we lost contact over the years, hadn't seen him in years. Went to an event and was at an event, and all of a sudden, here's this person I haven't seen in years. And we had a conversation, and he was like, hey, and he always called me Mo. And so he was like, Mo, what are you doing? What's going on these days? And I said, well, I'm wrapping up my doctoral degree. The kids are grown. I'm just trying to find my life. What's next for me? And he says, well, if you don't know, he said, I'm doing the city summit, city gala thing. Come along, come watch, come see. When he had the little meetings at the different places, not the full blown gala, but the little meetings. Just come
Right.
on. And I went. And I started seeing people I had only read, or the Jack Canfields,
Uh-huh.
I started Dr. Greg Reed, Dr. Dentley. I started seeing people I had only read about them or seen them on YouTube or something like that. And it just sort of opened up my world to, okay, I've been doing this whole coaching and life, ministry for years, but I never thought about it as my profession. And he was like, no, this is available. And everything I did. And then, of course, through going to one of those meetings, I met David Fagan. David said, hey, you got a book in there. And I told him, and he was like, boom, Rediscovering Your Destiny. I was like, yeah, that is my book. And then it was just, it was just like almost the floodgates of 15 years just opened. And so, and then, the early days of our Ryan and our friendship, I mean, I was struggling, he was struggling. He had for me. I had for him when he was struggling. So we always had that go back and forth, but came back at the end of his journey, because when he used to tell his story, and I was like, dang, I remember that was going on, but I didn't know to what degree. And then God said to me, because if you knew to what degree, you would have tried to go in and make a difference. And I didn't need you to make a difference. And I was like, wow, that's powerful.
Right.
And then when I needed to have a different outcome, he was the mentor. I said, should I buy this pack or should I do that? He was like, yes, no, investigate that. Go here, call this person, talk to this person. He was that person. And I thought when God took him home that I wasn't going to have that anymore. And well, I know, again, I'm solid in my faith, but I need that human touch. And I was like, who do I get that from? And God has given me another mentor, and where I get that inspiration and that motivation, and says, hey, did you think about this? Hey, look at that. And so he hasn't really taken him away from me, because I tell you, some mornings I look at the sky and I see his footprints across the sky. Or if I need something I'm thinking of something or working on a project, I really hear his voice. And the beauty of it all, he was the connector between Michelle and I. And she is my soul sister and she understands when I say it this way, she is my assignment. So they me to, you would see me walking the events and you think I'm just another worker, another volunteer. They blessed me to walk through the events and pray. So we knew that day was going to be on holy ground, that God was going to meet us there. And so, yeah.
Well,
So,
thank you for sharing, because I, want to be sensitive to it, and yet there's so much beauty and so much history in the two of you, and
Mm-hmm.
it really shares that
Yeah.
when you go out there and you show up, when you feel
Yeah.
called to show up to something,
Yes.
then it's amazing the people you meet, and the love and the energy and synergy that you can experience. And we can do the same thing now in showing up online. That is the beauty of it. And
Yeah.
when you were sharing about the fact that the numbers when you're going to the to the location versus the numbers now where you show up and half
Yeah.
of you is all ready to go and the other half is like,
Yeah.
okay, we get to be a little bit casual today.
Yeah.
And the people that are being affected because of this, we can look at the good in all
Absolutely.
of it. You have two choices always.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Where
Absolutely.
you choose to,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. I love it. Well, what I've been doing, Marlena, Dr. Marlena, is I've been giving some time for someone to be online on, here and share a nugget, something of inspiration with everybody, whatever you're feeling right now. And for a moment, and then I'm going to drop myself down, and then I'm going to come back and we will close out the show. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, that one nugget would be just be authentic to your purpose and your mission. We get lost sometimes looking to be perfect, um, not wanting to say the wrong thing, when the reality of it is, if you're just being you, you are enough because you're created in the image of the great I am. So you can say it, I am enough because I am a part of the master. And with the master, we get to co create these masterpieces. So when life kind of beats you up and you're just not sure what the next move is going to be, you can tell yourself, I am enough. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Watch me. And you get to fill in the watch me. And the watch me is really not for someone else to really watch you. It's for you to watch yourself grow beyond your wildest imagination. So remember, rediscovering your destiny because you already have everything you need within. I think that's would be my message. The
I love it.
possibilities to reinvent the inevitable we already carry.
You know what? I love it. And in fact, what I'm going to do real quickly here is I'm going to show in the stream you have your website, and I'm going to have you share that information after in the comments.
Okay.
And then also we're going to be putting the show on YouTube. And so we will then put your information in there too. So if someone wants to find you, connect with you, find out more about become a better, stronger you. I mean,
Absolutely.
right now this is the time. This is the
Absolutely.
time, and anybody can.
Yes.
Anybody and everybody can.
And now is the time. Yes.
Huh?
No greater time than now to be you tap inside of you and quiet all the distractions.
I love it. I love it. And I absolutely adore you. So,
Yeah.
as we close, I mean, I could keep going and going and going.
No, I can't.
There's so much that, and we'll have you back because there's so much that we didn't cover yet. We covered what we needed to cover today. We'll have you back and continuing this because people need to know, number one, that there are miracles that have happened, continue to happen, and their miracle could be
Mhm.
around the corner right now. And you just never know. You never know. And I know I've witnessed them, and I know you've witnessed more than we shared
Yeah,
today.
or better yet, be the miracle that someone is praying for.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely. Be someone's service hero because we
Hmm.
all have a service hero inside us. So as we close today, June the 30th, 2020, the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome, celebrate successful service. Dr. Marlena, you are a service hero. We have determined that. We have.
Love you.
You know, I love you too. You are doing so much for so many, and you did today too. You shared with people today your heart, your real authentic self. I can validate that because I know her. And you also shared with them that they can be the miracle for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And in truth, we all have rights to expect our own miracle, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. And for those of you that are buddies, we will be gathering tonight. Tonight is Tuesday, so it's Travel Tuesday. We travel in all sorts of ways in the closed group. It could be in our minds, it could be through music, which could be time travel, could be all sorts of fun things. However, you know that we'll be sharing an abundant amount of humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a lot of love. And we do that every day at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern in the closed group. Go to Chemo Buddies for Life, the page, go to groups, go to the community. And if you are not yet a member, go ahead and ask to join. We ask two things. Number one, what takes place there stays there. And number two, it is a safe environment. So we ask that you help to keep it safe. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.